Hi everyone, my name's Laura and I'm the Carpe Diem Stitcher. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you're an existing subscriber. So today I'm joining you to give you my take on the tag that's been going around on YouTube recently, which is the hashtag 5 handmade essentials tag, which was created by Sara over at knottygnome crafts, and I will link Sara's channel down below. But she came up with the idea that it would be interesting to hear what sewists pick for their 5 handmade essentials in, funnily enough, 5 different categories. So a top, a piece for the bottom half of your body, a one piece, a layering piece, and a wildcard, which can be anything, an accessory, something for somebody else, something that doesn't necessarily fit into any of those categories, or that you wanted to put in one of those categories but you couldn't fit them all in. So I'll get on to my choices in a minute, but I wanted to thank Sara for creating this tag because it's been really interesting watching everyone else, and I've really enjoyed thinking about my pieces. And I'd also like to say thank you to my lovely sewing friend Jess over at So What If I Sew, who tagged me to take part in this. So this is my take on 5 handmade essentials. So I thought what I'd start off by saying is just a bit of an introduction to say that I'm not a massive pattern repeater. So I've got one exception to that, which you can probably guess if you've watched me for any length of time. So I'll get on to that later. But on the whole, I don't tend to repeat patterns, or certainly not kind of immediately. I don't tend to make things over and over. So in order to pick out what my essential patterns were, I decided I would take the view, what would I do if a greedy sewing pixie got into my sewing room and decided that they wanted to magic away my patterns? Which ones would I be really upset to find had magically disappeared overnight? So that's how I picked my 5. And so I'm going to start off with my essential top, and it's what I'm wearing. So this is a fairly standard style shirt with a collar, button down the front. I'll pop a picture in so you can see it properly. But it's this pattern, and it's McCalls M7575. So in theory it's nice and easy to remember, but I've started filming this video about 3 times and I keep forgetting the pattern number, but that's what it is. And I made view B, and I just did it without the breast pockets. But you can see you can do it with kind of round collar, with either short sleeves and kind of tunic style, or long sleeves but without the pointy collar. And you can also do it with a camp collar. So there's loads and loads of variety on the pattern, which I like. And the other reason I love it is it just holds a special place in my heart, because it was the first really fitted pattern that I actually made. I do apologise, I've got my trusty notebook down here, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at my notebook. So this is the only one of the pattern I've actually made, but I have got another one cut out, which is actually a mashup of this pattern and a new look pattern, which I can't remember the number of, but it's got kind of open cuffs, which I really like the look of, and I've used before. I'll pop a picture up of me wearing that. It's a kind of licorice all sortsy shirt, but I really like the fit of this bodice on me, so I'm mashing the two up. So I'll pop the details of the new look pattern across the screen as well, in case you like the look of that. But this pattern, it comes in sizes. I'll just say really quickly, because I know some of you don't like when I go into detail, so I'll just give you the bust sizes to give you an idea. Comes in sizes 8 to 24, and that's a bust 31.5 up to 46 inches. But it's one of those ones where you have to buy the right size banding. So this one's size 8 to 16. And then the other one, I don't know whether there's an overlap at 16. No, yes, there is. There's an overlap at 16, and it goes up to size 24. So it's this pattern. So as I say, it holds a really special place in my heart. I love this shirt. I love the fabric. It's actually a fitted sheet that came from a charity shop, which I cut up. And if I just lean into the camera a very little bit, hopefully you can see I've got these really sort of sparkly buttons on it. Hopefully you can see that. You can see it winking in the light. There you go. So yeah, so that's my first of my handmade essentials. It's the McCalls M7575 shirt. Okay, so that's that one. So now onto the bottom piece. So this is difficult because I haven't made any trousers as yet. I've got some on my makes list, and I've said I want to make jeans this year. And I've also bought a pattern more recently than that, but you will, or more recently than my plans to make jeans. But you'll have to wait for that until my next Friday sews. I'll show you those then. But so I've thought about skirts that I made, and I made quite a few early on in my sewing career, but I would say I only really wear one of those now, and that's the Stitch Sisters kind of circle skirt, which I made out of scuba following instructions that they gave. But my favourite bottom piece is this, and this is a Prima pattern. So if you subscribe to Prima magazine, you can get a free pattern. I think they just charge you £1 a month for postage of the pattern. Sorry, I'm showing you the back. So this is mine. I'll show you the pattern in a minute. But you can see it's got top stitching all the way down the front, which took me ages to get right. And I did it in red, which I really like because it stands out. And then it's got these nice deep pockets on each side of the front. And then it's fastened with a zip at the back and a hook and eye. And I don't know if you noticed before, it's got, it slits. There's a slit at the front. There you go. That's the seam at the back. But you can see there's a fairly high slit in it. But I like it because it goes any season. So you can have it, you know, with bare legs and sandals in the summer, but you can wear it with tights and boots in the winter. So it really is an all-round piece. And I really really enjoyed sewing at the pattern. And yeah, so in terms of the pattern that I've got, I don't subscribe to Prima, but a friend of my mum's does, and she sends me the patterns. So for me, it's a free pattern. You can actually also, and I'll put the link below, you can order the patterns individually. So if you like that, you can go onto their website and just purchase the pattern, and it doesn't matter that you don't subscribe. But if I show you, this is just a rip out from the magazine. It actually comes in 3 different views. So the view that I made was view 3 with all this top stitching down and the zip at the back. But you can make it as a straight button skirt, or you can make it as a more A-line skirt. So it's nice and flexible in terms of the styles you can make. So again, like my top, you've got options. So that's one of the reasons that I would pick it as an essential, because it's got lots of different views that you can use. So if I go to my notebook, I can give you the sizing really quickly. I can if I'm on the right page. And this was the New Year 2021 Prima pattern. It goes from size 10 to 20, and the size 10 is 25-inch waist and 37-inch hip. And it goes up to size 20, which is a waist 34 and hips of 44. Now, that is not the most inclusive pattern in the world. However, I noticed the other day that Style Arc are actually having a Christmas in July sale at the moment, and they've got a skirt pattern called the Tommy, and it's not that different from the view that I've made of that denim skirt, except that it's got a fly front. But what you could do, I think, without too much difficulty, would be that you could sew the seam up at the front and put your zip in on the centre back seam, because it's got a centre back seam. So if you like the way that I've got it there, you could probably adapt the pattern. And that's much, much more inclusive. It goes up to something like a size 32, I think. So I'll pop the details of the style art pattern down below as well, if you like that and you want to go and have a look at that. So yeah, so that is my essential bottom piece. So my next piece is my favourite one piece. So this took a little bit of thinking about, and in the end I got it down to two. And option one was the Nina Lee South Bank dress, which also, if you know the pattern, has a top in it. And I've made the top once, and I've made the dress twice. So I've made it once in a kind of tie-dye fabric, which is great all year round. And then I've made it once in a kind of, looks a bit like a Nordic sweater pattern. So that's kind of quite good round Christmas holiday time. And there will be more of those. But in the end, I chose my jumpsuit. Well, we in the UK would call them dungarees. But this is the Life So Savoury women's full length romper / jumpsuit pattern. And I looked at this pattern when I did my thoughts about So Frugal 23. So I'll link that video down below. And I'll also link the video that I did revealing my dungarees. So I didn't get them done in time for So Frugal. And also they wouldn't have counted because I discounted making them for So Frugal because I wasn't happy about any of the fabrics that I thought I could make them in. And then I saw some fabric and bought it and made them. So I'll pop a picture up here of the dungarees that I made. And in the end, the reason that they won over the South Bank dress is just because I feel so like me in them. They are just me down to a T. They've got a slightly different pattern on them because they're tie-dye. So they sort of stand out a bit and they're so comfy. Yes, going to the loo is a bit of a pain in them, so but I've worked out now I can just undo one of the straps and then slide the other one down, so it's not quite so bad. And if I make them again, which I think I will, I'll change the shape of the pocket on the front. Little things like that might grade out a little bit more on the hip, but I really want to make them again in probably a stretch denim. And again, I think it's one of those patterns that you can wear dungarees with a t-shirt under in the summer, and you can wear it with something warmer underneath in the winter. So for me, again, it's a great all-round piece, but I just feel I haven't had dungarees for years, and they were on my kind of make 9 plans. I don't have a set of make 9 garments if you're watching me for the first time, but I've got a set of kind of 9 sorts of things I want to achieve over the year, and one of them was dungarees. Kind of, are they jumpsuit? I suppose a jumpsuit, but I would call it a jumpsuit with sleeves, like a flying suit, that kind of thing. And I feel so relaxed in them and just so comfortable. And I wore them to work the other day, and you'll see that they're bluish. And I had blue earrings on, and my hair's blue. And people were kind of commenting, but in a nice way. And yeah, I just feel really nice in them. And I think that makes them my handmade essential. So as I said, it's the Life So Savoury full length romper jumpsuit pattern. And I'll link it down below. But you take the instructions from the web page and then you just download the pattern pieces. And it's a free pattern, so, you know, it's great. And this goes from a size XXS to XXXL, and that's it advises you to base the measurement on your hips, and it goes from a 30 to 32 inch up to a 57 inch. So yeah, there will be more, and yes, I just really like it as a pattern that just makes me feel like Laura, really. So that is my one piece pick, my dungarees. Okay, next up is my layering piece, and this is the one where I have made more than one. In fact, I've made 6 of these. And so my layering piece is the Tilly and the Buttons Nora top. And I have made, 6 of these, as I said. I've made 4 for me and 2 for my mum, and I'll put some pictures up of me wearing them. Some of my mates. I've just grabbed one to show you, and this is I think probably of the ones I've made for me, my favourite one. So this is out of this lovely rainbow fleece, and again, it's probably something that I'd say just is me. I just like the colours in it. I like nice bright colours, and it is super warm, and I think this is why I have made so many of them. You've got to be a bit careful, obviously, because fleece isn't very stretchy, so you've got to be careful to make the neckband wide enough, but I can get this over my head without a problem. And what I did was, you can make the Nora with a kind of hem that drops down at the back. But what I did was I just lengthened it to the length of the back. And I've just made them all the same length all the way round. And just super, super cosy. And for my mum, I've adapted it twice. And again, I'll put pictures in, but she's YouTube shy, so they're not on her. And what I've done for her is the purple one, she wears outdoors, and so it's sized up because she wears it over the top of, say, another sweater, and I put pockets in for her so she can put her keys in. And then the leopard print one is a bit smaller, and she just uses it as a kind of indoor sweater. But in both cases, I put a zip in the front, so I just put a seam down the front, added on seam allowance, and installed zip. And it was really easy, so that worked great. So the Tilly and the Buttons Nora, because it's one of their older patterns, unfortunately it isn't in the larger size range, which is a bit of a shame, but hopefully they'll get around to it and do something about it soon. I say that with no knowledge as to whether or not they will, but hopefully they would. And this comes in sizes 1 to 8, and size 1 is a 30-inch bust and size 8 is a 44-inch bust. So you can see at the moment, sadly, it's not wholly inclusive. So that is my essential layering piece. Okay, and last but by no means least is my wild card. So what's my wild card? Well, again, I thought long and hard about this, and I very nearly said the Tilly and the Buttons Juno pyjamas, because I have made them. I've made them sort of 3 times. So I made them for myself once, and then I made them for my aunt, but the bottoms didn't fit her, so I ended up having the bottoms, making myself the top in the same fabric, and then I made some bottoms for her again, but I hacked it, so I put in a drawstring like the Tilly and the Buttons Margot pyjamas, which are in the first Tilly and the Buttons book, Love at First Stitch. So I've kind of made it 2.5 times, I suppose. So it was very nearly that, but then I just kind of couldn't resist something else. So my Wildcard handmade essential is Vogue, I'm reading it off the back of the pattern, V8959. So it is this cape pattern, and I've made this one, the kind of middle length one, and the only change I made to the pattern is I've added 2 more buttons down the front, because it gets really cold and windy in Wales, and you don't want the front of your cape wafting around all over the place, so I put a couple more buttons on it. Other than that, I just made it exactly as it was, and I'll put some pictures up of it, but I just really like it because it goes with anything. You can wear it with jeans, you can wear it with more dressy trousers, you can wear it with a skirt. It's not the most handbag friendly garment, I have to say, and I probably wouldn't wear it if I was going out for a really busy shopping trip, but to go out for kind of lunch or go out in an evening if you're not needing to carry too much, and I just like it because, again, a bit like my shirt, it felt involved because it was my first lined garment, and I would definitely make it again if I had occasion to. I'd probably always have to make it the same length because I actually cut the pattern out because I couldn't see that I would ever wear the shorter one or the really long one, if I'm honest. But I remember my mum and dad bought me the fabric, and it took me ages to pluck up the courage to cut into it because it's a Melton wool. So I'll pop all the details of it down below. But this one comes in sizes extra small through to XXL, and the bust on this is the extra small is 29.5 inch to 30.5 inch, and the XXL is 46 to 48 inches. And I'm just checking whether they are all in the same pattern, and of course they're not. So the extra small to the medium is in this pattern pack, and then the large to the double XL is in the other pattern size pack. So please excuse my scrawl all over the pattern piece. So yeah, I'm just really fond of that, and I think if somebody said I had to lose all my outerwear apart from one garment, I would pick the cape to keep, because I'm still really proud of it as a make, and it's really comfortable, and it is really warm, and I'm really glad I put those 2 buttons on it. So yeah, so that's my wild card. So it's been really interesting reflecting on this, because I think sometimes I might have picked clothing that was maybe more sensible or more traditional, but they don't really make me feel like me as much. And a bit like Jess said with her layering piece, which I think was the Mylone sweatshirt, and she said, it just makes me feel like me. And that's what a lot of my pattern picks do. They make me feel like me, either in terms of what I've accomplished as a sewist, or how my style is and how my style's changed. And I think it is changing because my profession's changed. Well, I've been in higher education quite a long time, but I used to dress much more formally than I do now. And so I think my style is changing towards being a bit more fun and a bit more casual. And I think some of my pattern picks reflect that. Not the shirt necessarily, apart from the fabric, but certainly my Nora top, and to some extent the cape, and certainly the dungarees. And I think what's also interesting is the real range of patterns. So what have I got in there? I've got a free pattern. I've got a pattern that came from a magazine, but which you can buy. I've got an indie because I've got the Tilly and the buttons, and I've got 2 big 4, which isn't what I would have said I would have picked at the start of all this. So yeah, so it's been really interesting reflecting on that. And I think it's also kind of made me think about where the gaps are in my wardrobe. It's not told me anything I didn't know in terms of the fact I do know I need to make more trousers, but it's made me realise that I do want to make more dungarees fairly quickly as well. So that's the end of this vlog. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed what I've had to say and you want to see more from me, please do consider subscribing, and please give me a thumbs up down below. And I'd be really interested to hear what you think of my 5 handmade essentials, and let me know what yours are, particularly if you're not planning on filming a video about it. If you are a sewing YouTuber watching this and you haven't already recorded 5 handmade essentials, then I'm tagging you. I'm tagging anyone who has a YouTube channel and wants to do this, because I think a lot of the people I follow probably have already done it. So yeah, so you're tagged if you're watching this and you haven't done it. And yes, so I will be back with you very soon. By the time you're watching this, I will probably be either on my way to or at my friend's son's wedding, and I have been doing a lot of sewing. Even though I've not been around on YouTube, I've been busily sewing for the wedding. So I plan to come back to you very soon with my outfit reveal, and I'll make sure that I get some decent pictures at the wedding if it doesn't pour with rain, and hopefully it's not going to. So I'll be back with that very soon, and also with a bit of a Friday Sews catch up. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now.